Okay, ready on my right?
Yep.
We're good over here? Ready on my left?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm calling this Village Board meeting of Village Trustees order, February 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. If we could have a roll to order, please. Roll call.
Trustee Alfano? Not here. Trustee Cordova? Here. Trustee Constados?
Here.
Trustee Kozar?
Here.
Trustee Kumar?
Here.
Trustee Sabri?
Here.
Village President Kevin Patrick?
Here. All right, if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Okay, do we have any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and move to item 4, public comments on agenda items. Clerk Lauken.
Yes, I have an agenda item here for a Colleen and John Will.
Hi. We wanted to bring to the board, can you guys hear me better now?
There you go.
We wanted to bring to the board's attention the construction. I know obviously we're all aware of the construction that's happening at the former municipal parking lot. We're residents that live directly across the street. We live less than 100 feet away from the construction, and we just wanted to bring to the board's attention some of our concerns. We were hoping that you guys would consider listening to what we have to say.
So, as you know, the construction of the union has been going on for roughly 2 weeks now, and we have been experiencing a lot of disruption in our apartment. It's been very noisy. It's been causing a lot of pollution. We run air filters around the clock, and the air filters all say, bad air quality for the last 2 weeks. And I guess what we're really asking is for noise and pollution mitigation from the town, or just hear what is being done or what can be done to lessen these effects on Villa Park residents. We had counted, and there are roughly 25 Ovaltine units that are facing the construction that are being affected by the noise and the pollution. There are roughly 5 single homes in the area. There's a daycare and preschool that is being affected by the noise and pollution. And
that's all within a 300-foot. That's all within 300 feet of the construction site. There's roughly 70 residences, and then,
townhomes.
yeah, 36 townhomes. So, I don't think it's just us. I think we're some of the people that came to speak on it, but from our proximity to the site, our unit literally shakes in the morning at 7 a.m. when we're sleeping, wakes us up every day. And then, like my wife was saying, the dust, we don't know what rules are in place to kind of mitigate the dust that gets blown towards our unit, but it has been, like, we're sensitive to that, and our noses have been running. We've been getting headaches from it. We've been trying to run HEPA filters. So we just wanted to understand what more could be done to mitigate that, or what rules are in place to help that not occur. You have anything else you want to say?
Just additionally want to point out that this row of folks are here to show their support. They're also affected by this issue, and really we're just looking for any sort of mitigation tactics that Villa Park can put in place. I know there's supposed to be spraying for dust. We see that I work from home, so I see a lot of what's going on, and they very rarely spray for dust. Additionally,
That's occurring, yeah.
and additionally, a lot of the very loud noise, like the jackhammering and the bulldozing, does go on between like 7 and 8, and then it is pretty quiet for the rest of the day. I know Villa Park noise ordinance is 7 to 7 or 7 to 8, but other areas like Chicago, I think, is 8 to.
Yeah, from what we gathered, there's other municipalities that if you're within immediate proximity of residential, that's, if there's heavy machinery noise, that they would delay that, at least until 8 o'clock. So we were hoping that you guys might consider amending your rules or being open to, you know, some sort of regulation on loud noise that early in the morning.
I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for hearing
Thanks
us.
for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Natalie Kramer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Kramer, and I'm the owner of the Salon Society. We recently relocated to the Villa Park community at 115 South Villa. I'm here to respectfully request the review of the 30-minute parking restriction along the west side of South Villa Avenue. Along my side of the street, it is 3-hour parking. With the former public lot under redevelopment, that immediate parking option is no longer available. The former lot was directly adjacent and intuitive. The remaining public lots require greater navigation, and for appointment-based businesses, especially in inclement weather or for older clientele, proximity directly affects accessibility. The businesses on this block are largely service and experience-based and cannot reasonably operate within a 30-minute time frame. A 30-minute parking limit implies a stop-and-go approach, while a 3-hour limit signals that this downtown is a place people can comfortably spend their time in. Many of our clients travel from outside Villa Park and are unfamiliar with the area. Clear, convenient street parking plays a significant role in how accessible and welcoming our downtown feels to visitors and contributes to the overall vitality of the downtown community. I respectfully ask that the village review whether the current time restrictions still reflects the needs and business model of the downtown corridor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mary Ann, I'm sorry, I cannot. What's your last name, Mary Ann? Julio?
You got it.
Thank you.
Hi, Mary Ann DeLulio here on behalf of Mortadelli. I'm speaking tonight because I genuinely believed we would be on this evening's agenda. A special liquor commission meeting was created and held February 3rd specifically for Mortadelli so that our application could be reviewed and recommended forward to the village board. Prior to that February 3rd special meeting, we attended 2 separate liquor commission meetings simply to understand the proper process and what was required for us to get in front of the commission in order to obtain the recommendation necessary to appear before this board. We followed the direction given to us at each step. After the February 3rd meeting, Kevin Patrick explained that we were not placed on the February 9th village board agenda because there must legally be 1 full week between the Liquor Commission's recommendation and submission to the village manager and the president. We understood that requirement and accepted it in good faith. Based on that explanation, we fully expected to be placed on February 23rd agenda. However, once again, we are not listed. This is extremely frustrating. We have followed every step that has been asked of us. We've attended multiple liquor commission meetings. A special meeting was held specifically to move our application forward. We have participated in good faith and have done everything requested to comply with the process. Additionally, I noticed that Standard Meadery is on tonight's agenda. They appeared before the Liquor Commission during one of the same sessions when we were present. Given that timeline, it is difficult not to question whether Mortadelli is being treated differently. From our perspective, this repeated delay is beginning to look like favoritism or targeted delay, which is deeply concerning. We are not asking for special treatment. We are simply asking for fair and consistent treatment under the same process as any other applicant. We are small business owners investing in this community and doing everything we can to comply properly. At this point, we're respectfully requesting a clear explanation as to why Mortadelli was not placed on this meeting and agenda and when we can expect to be scheduled before this board. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is it.
Is there anybody else in attendance that would like to speak on public comments on agenda items?
Hello, I'm Lynn Smith, also a Ovaltine Court resident. Not sure if this is the actual agenda item, but I just wanted to add some additional information from what my neighbors have stated. So what we are ultimately asking for is if is a plan for noise control mitigation, for traffic control mitigation, and for dust control mitigation. Is that published somewhere so that the public can see what those measures are? Because we've been provided the time for when the construction will take place, but we have not been provided any details on the 3 items I just mentioned regarding noise control, traffic control, and dust control. And they're just getting started, right? And this is estimated to last, like a year and a half, roughly? So as time goes on, I anticipate, it'll be even, if they're already having issues, I can just imagine. So we just would want to see, okay, what is supposed to be done so we can monitor and see if that's actually being accomplished. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And just for clarification for everybody out there, is that I understand that when you come to public comments, sometimes it feels like you're expecting an answer or to be addressed. And because that doesn't happen here, that doesn't mean that we're ignoring you or not addressing you. That's just, this is how the formal process is. The public comment is the opportunity for everybody to state into the record what their concern or issue is. What I would recommend also, though, too, and more specifically from some of the topics that were brought up tonight, is that those can be answered, and we can answer those by staff, but during public comment is not the appropriate time for that. I highly recommend also reaching out through email or calling us, but we will have staff try to address these issues once we can after the meeting. All right, is there any other public comments on agenda items?
Again, Cheryl Tucker. Seeing I have been here before, I am here again on item 10A, hoping that you will move that forward for the benefit of the Villa Park so that we can get the swimming pool into groundbreaking status. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other public comments on agenda items? Are there any comments on non-agenda items?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, we will go ahead and move forward. We have no proclamations tonight or presentations, so we'll move forward with the consent agenda. Item 8A, bill listings for the weeks of February 9th, 2026 in the amount of $136,709.84 and $166,490.76, and February 17th, 2026 in the amount of $338,734.04 and $961,146.80. Item B, approval of the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting and the Village Board of Trustee meeting held on February 9th, 2026. Item C, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving and authorizing the execution of a supplemental highway authority agreement with Finish Line Investments and Properties Incorporated. And item 8D, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving and authorizing the execution of a highway authority agreement with Finish Line Investments and Properties Incorporated. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I make a motion.
Trustee Sabri? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados, thank you. Is there any discussion? Oh, absolutely. We don't have to discuss that. We're just moving forward to a vote. So roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano? Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constados?
You can ask if anyone wants to remove anything from the consent.
Okay. Typically on the consent agenda, there is no discussion unless a trustee wants to remove something from consent agenda to discuss. So if there is something that would like to be removed to discuss,
No, I'm good.
okay. So we have a first and a second. Clerk Lauken.
Trustee Cordova? Yes. Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay, moving along to item 9A. 9 is staff reports. 9A is the FOIA reports as of 2/19/26. 9B is the Public Works, the Parks report, the capital projects as of 2/18/2026. 9C, the Finance report, January 2026. 9D, the Recreation report, January 2026. 9E, Video Gaming report, January 26th through February 18th, 2026. And 9F, the Community and Economic Development report for January 2026. Manager Rivas.
We were just going to discuss the finance report for this month, and we would just call up Finance Director Susie Micah.
Good evening. Based on the report that I presented to you right now for the month of January 2026, the general fund year-to-date revenues as of the end of January are at $381,722, which is only 1% of the total 2026 annual budget, and it's roughly $1.7 million less than revenues received during the same period last year. That sounds alarming, but let me finish. We should be at 8.3% right now as a benchmark for the first month into the new fiscal year. However, right now, the Finance Department is behind on recording revenues in the month of January. So we have a lot of property taxes that we have to, a lot of taxes that we have to record for the month of January, which is sales tax, the state income tax, utility taxes, the PPRT, which is the personal property replacement taxes, the amusement tax, the auto rental tax, the places of eating, and the Perry Mutual tax. The reason why that we're behind on this, and I want to be genuine that I'm not making excuses, however, the fact that right now the Finance Department is focused on closing out 2025 in preparation for our auditors, because they will be on site 3 weeks from today to start the 2025 field work. And so it's very important that we get those records closed out before we jump into January. So a lot of the revenues, when they're brought in, are automatic, and so our software updates them. But a lot of these taxes that I just mentioned to you actually get deposited into our bank account, and what we have to do is a journal entry into the financial ERP system to actually book them. And so we're obviously behind, but we're behind because we've been behind for so many months based on what we've got going on between the 2024 audit, et cetera, et cetera. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel, so we're almost there, especially if once we get the auditors here on field work, then we'll be able to turn over the 2025 records for them to audit, and then go on and look at January and start getting in a routine of getting those items booked for the village and be on a day-to-day routine like we should be. Once that process is complete, we will update these items, and we'll be on par to be on a regular day-to-day as well as month-to-month basis. The revenues for the other funds typically come in slowly at the beginning of the year, so you won't see them come in, but they increase dramatically after the first quarter, and a large part of that is because of the property taxes. So property taxes come in, they're not due until June 1st, so really you'll see that at the end of the second quarter. So one of the things that we're looking at is when we monitor the expenses in the interim to make sure to see where our revenues are at, we're kind of keeping an eye on them now to make sure that we're on par, and where there might be a imbalance between the two to monitor that to make sure if we need to scale back on spending. As of January 31st, the overall general fund expenses as a whole are at 6%, and that's actually 2.3% at the budgeted benchmark. So at our benchmark for the first month, we should be at 8.3%, and we're at 6%. So we're still in good shape in that perspective, but again, monitoring that very closely. Expenses for the other funds are 3% less. They're at 3% or less, with the exception of two funds, and that is the Recreations Fund is at 8%, and the Parks Fund is at 6% for spending, which isn't a bad thing, because again, the benchmark is at 8.3, so they're on par or below par. The only issue is that we've got to get caught up with recording revenues, and they're in the same boat that we're at in terms of being able to record their credit card charges that have come in for the month of January, and they've got to get those items booked on their end as well. So we're keeping a close eye on that to make sure that those come in line as well. The Parks Department is a little bit harder in the sense that most of their money that comes in for that department is from the general fund. It's a transfer. They have very little revenues that come in other than property taxes, and then a couple donations that come into their fund. Whereas Recreation should have a lot of money coming in for day-to-day activities and programs that people are paying for, so that just needs to get updated. Then we have the cash flow analysis that's on the very last page. Those numbers, again, are unaudited through January 31st. We're working to close out the 2024 audit, and as soon as we get that finalized, then I can go ahead and update those numbers and then put in where we're ending, because we're in 3 weeks to the deadline to when the field work begins with the auditors. That means that we can't do anything else. That means that 25 is closed out, and we're on that cycle like we should be every year, and we'll get into that habit so we can focus on looking at where we're projecting to end for 25 as we're working with them, so that we have a better picture of what our cash on hand is by position, by each fund. And then currently, the most important thing that I've been asked recently is where is the general fund in terms of how many days cash on hand we are, and as of January, we're 124 days cash on hand. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Consados.
Thank you. I have a question. On the general fund expenses, where it shows central services and it says 2026 budgeted, it says that it's at 47%.
You're looking at the January revenue and expense report?
I'm looking at whatever says general fund expenses, and then it has 2026 budgeted, 2026 actual for January, and then the percent.
I apologize. I see
No,
exactly
that's
where you're
okay.
coming from.
Can
I should
you-
have spoke on that ahead of time. That is alarming. From your perspective, I can see why you're questioning it. One of the things that we're working on doing, the change for 2026, is the health insurance. So what we were seeing is before, when we take the health insurance portion, when we get the invoice every month, which is anywhere between $320,000 and $350,000 a month for the Blue Cross Blue Shield invoice, what we did before is we charge each department based on the employees that are in each department, their portion of the health insurance. What we found in the last couple months is that it was very confusing to the board and management, that we're, a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's spread out. So what we did is when the bill is presented on the bill list, is you'll see one line item coming out of central services for that full amount.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do on the back end, and I'm working on setting up a spreadsheet so that we can record what's called the journal entry, which is an accounting method, that will take that invoice and will actually record it on the back end and spread those expenses out to the individual departments and put a credit back into central services. So yes, central services looks at like it's at 47%, but the reality is because 418,000, that big chunk of that is the health insurance for 1 month. So typically, what I would have liked to have seen in a perfect world, if we were caught up at this moment, is that we would have put that invoice on, so you would have seen it on the bill list, and you would have seen the full dollar amount rather than seeing it broken up theoretically amongst all the departments. It's clean, it's visually, you can see it, and then on the back end, we're charging all the other departments. So that when you look at that report that I provided for the month of January, then the revenue and expense report, you could actually see the health insurance, it's the benefits line item for each department, and then you'll see a dollar amount that's charged in there every month that'll be flowing in there, so you'll see that line item grow. But you'll see that on the back end, and that's why the revenue and expense report will be provided to you, so that you can see that, whereas on the bill list, it's easier to follow.
Okay, and then.
That makes sense. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ramble.
No, that's okay. Thank you for explaining it. And then with the IT, should we be concerned that that's at 20%?
Yeah, so that, one of the big things with IT is that their expenses come in where they're paying an annual fee for renewals for different softwares and different programs. So one of the big things with them is that the beginning in January is when you're paying the annual renewal for a lot of their software programs. So you'll see that big expense up front. And then as each month goes by, they'll be spending less and less typically. But the big proportion on them is the renewal of the software.
Thank you very much.
Different programs.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Trustee Kumar.
Revenues from the Recreation Department, as far as the recreation fees are concerned, they should be mainly in January. Have they already filtered in? Are they taking time to filter in? What's the deal with that?
jump in for you.
So Susie kind of talked on it, the credit cards, which is, we get a lot of our revenue through credit cards, hasn't been figured out yet for January, hasn't been brought over to BSNA. So next month, you'll be seeing a jump up in revenue for
Okay,
for
yeah, because
credit cards.
I didn't see, and that's probably where a lot of the 8% is coming in, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You'll see a difference next month.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Spree.
I just have a question for Director Micah. When you think the 2024 budget will be wrapped up, and is it, how far are we behind, or, you know, what is the, I know the auditors are looking at it.
The 24 audit or the 24 budget?
2024 audit.
Yeah, so we're waiting at the so this coming Friday, we should have a report from the forensic auditors. I'm going to turn that report over, and it's an interim report. I'm going to turn that over to our auditors. They're waiting for that report. As long as they're comfortable with that report, then they can close out the 2024 audit so that they can opine on it. Right now, without having any kind of letter from Baker Tilly, they can't give an opinion on it or any kind of status setting on it. What I have invited them to come is at the March 9th Committee of the Whole meeting, we're going to have Baker Tilly give a presentation on that report that they're releasing to us on Friday. And we're going to have our auditors, Lauterbach and Ammon, they're going to be there too as well to answer any questions that we as a board or as management may have for them and or for Baker Tilly. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a Q&A, but wrap up any questions that should come up or any concerns.
The question is that the forensic audit is totally independent. Why we are waiting for the forensic audit to be completed? And this is 2024 budget. So 2024 budget has nothing to do with the forensic audit part of it. Why we are waiting for that?
So the explanation that was given to me by our auditors is because 2024 is included as one of the years that they're forensically looking at, and because they haven't physically completed and closed out the audit, it's still technically open. And because that audit is open while the forensic audit began, they can't close it because they can't opine on it. When they're coming in and looking at our records, for example, when they're polling, one of the things they do is pull AP invoices. And then we upload the general ledger to them at the end of the at the beginning of their field work. So they're coming in on March 16th, that Monday, to begin their field work. So I have to have an uploaded trial balance, which is basically the general ledger that lists where we stand with all of our revenues and expenses. We can't make any more adjustments, and we have to get it to them by that Thursday before. What they do is they run that in their computer system. I don't know if it's one every 100 items or one every 500 items. They put it through their system where it picks out different invoices to audit. And what they do is when they come out on field work, they have their list of, I want this vendor from this state, this dollar amount. And I want to see the invoice, and I want to see on that invoice to make sure that the employee that ordered the goods or services, that it went to the appropriate manager, supervisor approval, then through the finance office, and then to the board for approval. They look at those invoices to make sure that all of those processes for every single one of those invoices. In a perfect world, we should have followed procedures, pretty confident on that. If they find one or two that was missing a signature or didn't follow the proper purchasing rules, then they do a deeper dive and they start looking at more invoices. So if you take that across the board over all aspects in government, they're looking at our AP invoices, they're looking at our payroll, but they're only doing, like I said, one of every 100th transaction. They're not looking at every single transaction. So when they're confident and they're looking at all the transactions and they give a management letter at the end and saying, well, your internal controls are weak, you can tighten up on this is wrong, or this is good, et cetera, then they can opine on it and say, hey, you are operating under, the Government Accounting Standards Board satisfactory, you are following all of the accounting rules satisfactory, and they'll give us their opinion, which is typically a modified accrual opinion on their audit. But because they're only looking at one out of every 100 transaction or 500 transaction, when you have a forensic audit coming in, forensic audit needs to look a deeper dive into the numbers, and theoretically, they should be looking at every single line item. And so they're concerned about giving their opinion or opine on the audit, because if they're just looking at one every 50th transaction or 100th and it looks good and they're clear, that's great. When you have a forensic auditor and they're looking at every single line item, should something red flag or come to the attention, then I don't want to use a terminology that it makes them look bad, but that it makes them uncomfortable by giving an opinion because they're not able to see every single line item, because that's not the purpose of their audit to do. And so their explanation to me that's come back as we've had conversations on is that they can't legitimately opine while the forensic audit is open. And that's one of the other reasons why I asked them to come to Ethics COW, so that they can clarify it better or give a better example than I'm able to provide as to why they're holding the 2024 audit open.
Okay, thank you. I will reach out to Baker Tilly and see if I can get some answers from them. What about 2025? How far we are with the 2025? Is it pretty much complete? Or?
So the 2025 audit, we've got 3 more weeks to go. It's basically myself and the accounting manager that are working feverishly, trying to get the books closed. That's part of the reason why we're not able to focus on 2026 at all right now, is because we've been so focused on 2024 and getting the books closed for 2024 that we weren't able to focus on 2025. Well, now that we're able to focus on 2025 and to get on the normal cycle, in a perfect world, we should have good 4 months to start closing out the year. You should close out every month to be on par. But because everything has been in disarray for so many years, it's taken us extra time to be able to get all that stuff. So I'm going to use the phrase flying by the seat of our pants, in the aspect of trying to get everything done as quickly as we can to get the 24 audit. We know that in a perfect world, being that our fiscal year ended December 31st, the audit has to be filed with the state by June 30th. It has to be 6 months after your fiscal year ends. When you work with your auditors, they usually talk to you about 3 months before the next year comes in. So September, October, they actually called and said, hey, we're making our schedule for next year for all of our clients. And typically when you have the amount of time that they need for you to close and prep the year out, for them to come do their field work, then for them to do an interim report and then get the report back to me, for me to review it, write my MD&A, and get it back to them and then bring it to the board, that's at least a 2 to 2.5 month process. So you got to subtract that out from June, so that means that we've got to be done by April, which means that field work's got to be done in March. So we already planned that out and knew that we don't have time like we would normally like to have time. So that's why we're rushing and we're trying to do the best that we can to get it closed out, so that now after 2025, once we get into 2026, after December 31st hits, we've got our cycle, we've got some policies in place already that we've implemented with the management team and other departments in terms of what we need to get done so that we can get the books closed, get on a routine, and we know that the auditors are coming sometime in March, typically the end of March, so that they can do their field work. And then, like I said, get the reports in order, and then we're on a normal routine. So are we pushing it a little bit on 2025? Yes. It's straining us out, absolutely. But we're trying to get on a schedule, and this is the only way to do it, so that this way it prevents us from falling further and further behind. So the sooner we get reined in this way, the sooner we'll be able to get into that routine. And this way I can stand here before all of you. When I'm giving you the January report in February, I'm giving you everything's been recorded, and we're closing the month out like we should be, and we're on par, and we're giving you more solid numbers rather than fluid numbers.
Okay, good. Perhaps you can email us whatever your timeline would be and what the hiccups are and so forth. That will make better sense for all the board member to see. That would be good. Thank you.
Right. Are there any other questions or comments or discussion from the board on items 9A through 9F? Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I have a question. Is there a reason why the FOIA report is not what we're normally used to getting?
Could you clarify? I don't think there were any FOIA requests for the village hall.
Right, but there was some other ones for other departments, and normally we get the printout So I was just wondering why we didn't get the printout like we normally do. I didn't know are we changing the way we're doing that, or?
The last two we did, we were advised just to do FOIAs that were directed towards the village hall, village manager's office, HR. We were not including FOIAs for permitting or police or fire. As you can see on the report, there was over 300 FOIAs for other departments.
Okay, so the answer is, did we change the way we're gonna be doing it, and
No, this is the way that we've been doing it since. I think where you might be coming from is that in the past, we've had a
report?
a report with a lot of different FOIA requests on there. We don't have FOIA requests this month for what we've been asking for. But there are FOIA reports for the police department.
But there's also FOIA reports for the community development and public works. So that's why I was questioning why we didn't have the report that we normally get.
And,
did we change that? And if we did, when we were changing that, I guess.
Manager Rivas, maybe you can clarify, is because I think that in the past, we had a report, but when we had FOIAs on it that were for Village Hall related, those were all on there. But
Yes.
in the past, was community development on there or the police reports on there?
I think initially, yes, but as we saw, the numbers got to be too high, so we limited it to Village Hall. If you want to see additional ones, we can add those.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yes, I would, because I would consider, in my opinion, community development and public works part of Village Hall.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't know how everybody else feels. Not necessarily the police department ones, but yeah, I consider community development and public works part of Village Hall, so if we could receive that back, I would appreciate that.
Trustee Constados, just for clarification then, is that that's not an issue. Staff has that, they can get it out to us. I think for the sake of not having a, 500-page packet.
Sure.
What would you like to see on there, though? Would you like to see the entire FOIA? Would you like to see a summary? Would you like to see?
Just I think just like how we had it before, on the printout. I don't want to see everything you had to give to the person, just the printout like we normally got.
Okay.
Would be great.
Quick question for the board as well. Is that something that you would like to see as well? Trustee Sabri?
I would request that whatever was happening in the past, 6 months ago, we should have those reports now at the same fashion, not like now we're doing it differently than before. So if the FOIA request is from the community development, if any open, we need to know that, because some of the residents are asking that we requested some reports and they're still waiting for those, that somehow they need to be answered. So just like before, we had them, put them back on again.
Okay, so we will include community development and public works.
And yeah, well, whatever complete FOIA request should be, it's a knowledge that, we should have that.
Trustee Sabri, just really quick, and I understand your concern. Just for the sake of staff's time, is that, how many FOIAs did you say we had with community development then?
Out of the 300, most are police.
So between police and community development?
Community development was probably maybe somewhere in the area of 30.
30.
Most of them are just permits,
Okay. And so that's fine, we can absolutely do that and get that information out there. When you are dealing with 30 or multiple FOIA requests like that, though, that's when it's going to stack up with staff, making sure it's prepared and that any necessary information is redacted.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Trustee Kumar?
I have to agree with community. I agree that police is probably the largest because a lot of them are accident and police reports and FOIAs for that. I would suggest that even for them, at least we have a list of how many, not necessarily the details, just so we know how many FOIAs came in. That's all we need to know for police. And then for the rest, I would request the detail because there are not as many.
I second that. I think that's a great idea, Trustee Kumar. I think when we get into the numbers or to the weeds with that many FOIAs, I think just a general, like a subject line of an email.
Yeah.
You can just put in what the general FOIA was about and then list that. That way there, if there's any questions, trustees can look at that and then ask you to see the entire FOIA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will, I mean, we don't need every information, but we do need to know what's happening in some of those FOIAs and who's asking and who's not being replied to.
So
So
the-
that's more important to us.
So then my request of the village board then, trustee Constados, is that when it comes to the FOIA report, just to save staff the headache of all the time that's involved of redacting specific information from FOIA requests, that we put out there, like what we had before, is just the general subject of it. So that way, if you wanted to dig further into that, you could just request that specific FOIA. Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't think it's extra work, it's just that form. I mean, it's pretty much formatted in the computer. I think all they have to really do is print that.
Okay.
I don't want, like I said, all the pages. I just want the previous report that we had that was, line by line. So I would assume that the software that we use keeps that in, correct?
There still would be redacting if we do community development.
Well, sorry for the interrupt, but I think what we have here is we have an understanding from the board of what we're asking is just as simple. We don't need any redactions at that point. We just need to know what FOIAs are out there and what it was generally talking about. That way, trustees that want to know more about that specific FOIA then can request that, and then that's easier on staff to do those redactions, so that way we're not doing them all. Manager Rivas?
Just a point of order. Trustee Kumar, you had said to see which FOIAs are not being answered. They're all being answered. That is part of the law, and that's the law we are following. I just don't want to mislead the public.
Okay, I'm sorry. What I'm saying is timing and the timestamp is something kind of important to us. And it's more about answering the public when they ask us the question. I sent in a FOIA, I didn't get answered. We can say, yes, it was timestamped, it was answered, and just to return that answer, because consistent messaging, you're right, is very important.
Attorney Morton, can you just chime in on the specific law as to the timing? When a FOIA request is requested online, how long does the village have to create a reply?
Absent an extension, the village has 5 business days following the receipt of a FOIA. But if it would take longer than that, the village can request an additional 5 days, business days.
There's also commercial requests that have an extended period of time as well.
Okay. So, Trustee Sabri.
If I just may, let's say we have 30 FOIA requests they brought in, and you have numbers on those that this is for this week and this is for the past week. If they're filled, let us know the FOIA request number so-and-so was taken care of within the time limit, and whichever was not fulfilled with the time limit, and then we can look into those. That's all. Some of the residents, they were calling that we filed in for a FOIA, and we never received it. So those are the things that we can just quickly look it up and say, yeah, it's been taken care, or we can address to the appropriate department.
Yeah, a lot of just going back with the old, some of the requests were being done through the program, and sometimes people's emails would filter it out, see it as junk email, and that was a problem. But with the new program, we have not had, and we haven't experienced that problem.
So it should be streamlined. Thank you.
Yeah, Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. That was all I had for the FOIA, but I do have a question for the Community and Economic Development, if I may, really quick. I was just looking at the report, and my only question is the adjudication cases shows 0. Can I just have a little clarification on that? It just seemed odd that it says 0. That's all. No problem.
That may have been a miskey, so let me
No problem.
calculate that information tomorrow, and I will send out a separate email to the board.
Okay, Thank you. I thought it looked a little odd. That's why I was questioning it. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, I really appreciate the discussion about FOIA reports, too. I think everybody's on the same page with that, and we'll have a little bit more clarification moving forward. Manager McCann, that helps us out tremendously. Thank you. All right, if we have no more discussion, we're going to move forward with item 10A, an ordinance for the first reading. An ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Chapter 23, Article 12 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding allocation of the retailer's occupation tax for cannabis sales. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance, which is proposed by several trustees, would codify the allocation of revenue from the village's 3% tax on cannabis sales. Under this ordinance, 1/3 of the revenue would be allocated toward the construction and operation of a new community swimming pool. This is not a new tax. This is a first reading.
Okay, so is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar.
I'm absolutely in favor of this. I have been in favor of this for a long time, and so this is something I think we need to do going forward, not only with the cannabis tax. I think if we're in any good shape to get the pool, wherever it is, whatever it is, done, we're going to need a considerable amount of funding. So and it always shoots up more than we anticipate. So I know there's discussion of referendums and other things, but irrespective of that, we're going to need money, and this 3% is a start. I would also suggest, and this is a suggestion that I might put forward, that some of the money that we have increased revenue from the changes in liquor licenses, also some percentage of that be allocated for pool funds and things of that sort. It's a suggestion, and I'm sure at one point I'll put it through and hope that someone seconds me on that. But for this, at this point, this is a great start. Okay.
Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to waive the first reading and vote this today.
Okay, there is a motion to waive the first reading. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Trustee Constados, seconded by Trustee Sabri. Is there any further discussion?
Oh.
Trustee Constados?
I'm sorry. I was asked to please mention that Trustee Alfano is very much on board with this, and that she's excited to see this happen, and that she supports it 100% on behalf of her.
Okay.
That's all.
Is there any other discussion? All right, I will like to say, Trustee Constados, you are part of spearheading this. Thank you for all the work that you've done with this. The two of us met with Director Micah to make sure that this is something that was possible that we could do. Going back to years on the board was that I believe that was the original intent when we were doing this back in 2019. And so I'm happy with this as well, and I think we are moving forward in the right direction.
I just also want to say thank you to Director Micah, and thank you to Cheryl Tucker for sending some information as well pertaining to what the previous administration had talked about doing that hadn't accomplished that. So that information was very helpful as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a motion to waive the second reading by Trustee Constados, seconded by Trustee Sabri. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova? Yes. Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay. There we go. Moving forward to 11A, ordinance for a second reading, ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Section 14-207 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding no parking zones. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Plan Commission is recommending an ordinance to eliminate on-street parking on the north side of East Wildwood Avenue from Villa Avenue to South Myrtle Avenue, and on east side of South Myrtle Avenue from Wildwood Avenue to Wildwood. This would allow for greater access along Wildwood, as these portions of the roadway will be reduced with the construction of the Union Development and the VPRC.
Okay, do I have a motion for the ordinance?
Make that a motion?
Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados. Okay, we'll start with discussion, but first, we had some public here regarding traffic on Villa Avenue, especially with construction. I'm just going to kind of piggyback on that and let you know that currently our Plan Commission is full right now, and their plate is full. So the March 18th meeting, they will be discussing a lot of the issues regarding parking around there. If you have questions or concerns, I highly recommend go to that meeting as well and express them there as well. But we have heard and we are listening, and we are trying to address it through the proper channels and the proper processes. So stay tuned. But the Plan Commission does have a full plate, and they are working on it. Is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar.
There was a discussion about the time limit of 30 minutes, which I think is on the low side, if there is a time limit of 30 minutes, because pretty much that means you go in and out. Some businesses run that fast. I think a hair salon certainly does not. You wouldn't want people walking out there with messy hair. So I would suggest that we really, really consider that limit and increasing that limit. If not to 3 hours, at least 2, because otherwise you cannot do people's hair, and it's simply not fair. Certain businesses are going to need more than others, and so that's something to do. I do know this is a temporary situation. We are hopefully going to have decent parking once the union comes in, and so I understand that we should have a lot of spaces and in the long run, but our businesses have to stay in business. They can't stop just because, a building is going up. So I think we should consider a longer limit, at least on one side or the other side, figure out where we're going to give some longer timing for people to park.
Trustee Kumar, I absolutely understand what you're saying, and I agree with you on that. The Plan Commission is the first step in the process of making that happen, and they are advisory to the village board. So once it goes forward to them through the proper process, they will make a recommendation to the village board, bring it back to us, and then we will be able to further discuss that in particular here.
Is it worth then tabling this till we get back the information from the Plan Commission?
This is a separate issue than the Villa Avenue parking that has been brought up, more specifically the 30-minute timing that you've been referencing. Manager Ritas.
If I may, if any cars do park on the north of that location, you have that in the map. It's very dangerous and very tight for any emergency vehicles to get through. So it's a completely separate issue, as President Patrick had said.
Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that this is a temporary thing for just during while construction's going on, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Attorney Morton.
So just to clarify that, trustee, there's no language within the ordinance that makes it just a temporary change.
That's why I was asking.
So if that is something, generally, I would just say that once it's no longer needed, you would come back and amend it again, rather than building into your code an automatic sunset provision that would then have to be managed in some way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Kumar?
Is there a way that it comes back to the board, though, automatically?
Not as written. There's not a mechanism in there.
Is there a way to write that so that it comes to the board for revision or relook at one point? We do that all the time. At least it has been done in the past.
We could add language in there about, after the completion of construction on, the Union project, it just gets into uncertainties of what is considered completion, at what point is it no longer an issue, to just bring it back to the board. I think that's something that is best handled by the administration and making sure that it does come back, as well as it could be something that the Plan Commission continues to monitor.
Trustee Kumar?
Is it possible then to ask our staff to make sure that, we get an update on this a year hence and like 2 years hence? Because I think that Union project should be fully complete in 2 years, given the timeline we've been given, and that they come back to us with this ordinance possibility and have this discussion and have this on their radar, because at one point, we're gonna have to release the space.
That's a legitimate ask, and I think that's fine. And so we'll be asking staff then right now to give us those periodic updates, and upon project completion or when staff feels the need for this to be changed, that comes back to the board. Good. Okay.
Wait, one more
Trustee
question.
Kumar?
As far as the plan commission, so what are they weighing in on with respect to the Villa Avenue? What is the ask we've given the plan commission? Just a question.
To review the parking on the Villa Avenue Historical District, so along Villa Avenue. One of the things that I think is essential that this board understands is that the Villa Avenue parking has always been an issue in Villa Park, and now that we have a major development in town, there are a lot of concerns around that. So that's why I was saying that the Plan Commission is busy, but what they're going to be reviewing are all of the parking limitations that are currently in place, because there are some places that there's no parking, 30-minute parking, 15-minute parking, and so forth. So they're going to be reviewing the entire area and coming back to the board with recommendations on what they think they should do.
Okay, so
what we
that's-
should do.
Okay, so I'm just looking for that word recommendations that I would like to see in the future, because that, I mean, reviewing it is one thing, but we need some viable solutions for the businesses out there. So I hope they will bring back some good recommendations.
Trustee Cordova.
Do you know if this is going to be on the agenda for sure on the next one?
Yes, I have given direction for it to be on their agenda.
And then, so we should hear back at the following, as long as there's some kind of resolution?
Not necessarily. So the way proper procedure works is that it will go to the commission for discussion, and however long it takes them to make a formal recommendation to the board, and then once that recommendation comes to the board, then we have the final say in what happens there. So it is a process, and it is a job. They're going to be looking at the entire district, so there's going to be discussion there. But the goal is to eventually have a formal recommendation made to the village board. Trustee Kumar.
Quick statement. So we should tell the businesses who are interested in this, in Villa Avenue, to attend that Plan Commission meeting if they have suggestions or want to listen in on progress.
Absolutely. We encourage that as well. There are multiple different opinions, multiple business owners with different ideas of what that should be, and I think that's why it's important that we go to the Plan Commission with this, so that way we could clarify issues and have a better understanding and a strong formal recommendation brought back to us.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other discussion? So we have a motion for 11A by Trustee Sabri, seconded by Trustee Constados. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay, moving along to item 11B, an ordinance for second reading. An ordinance amending section 3-313A of the municipal code of the Village of Villa Park, decreasing the number of Class AA liquor licenses and increasing the number of Class quadruple A liquor licenses for standard meadery. Do I have a motion for the ordinance? I'm sorry?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Trustee Kozar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Constados. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay, moving along to item 11C, an ordinance for second reading, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, Illinois, amending Article 3 of Chapter 9 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding fees for emergency medical transportation and related services. Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Trustee Sabri. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to 11D, an ordinance for second reading, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending multiple sections of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding the Villa Fest Commission and subcommittees. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance would dissolve the Villa Fest Commission and amend the structure of subcommittees to allow the creation of a Villa Fest subcommittee of the Community Fund Commission. These changes are recommended by the Community Fund Commission.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Kozar, a second.
I'll second.
Trustee Constados? Okay, discussion? Trustee Cordova?
I spoke about this last meeting for a discussion, but nobody wanted to talk, which is totally fine. We are changing the rules. We just made an amendment, so just to kind of rewind, last year, around May, we dissolved all of the commissions, and one of the rules were, or one of the reasons were that there were too many people on multiple commissions. So as all the former commissions got dissolved, we made new rules and ordinances. One of the ordinances were you can no longer be on one commission and another one, or on one commission and a subcommission. So when you read that there are, we are making multiple section, or amending multiple sections of this ordinance, we are reversing that. So the reason why we thought that we didn't want those old commissions and people to be on multiple commissions was because centralizing ideas and whatnot. This is reversing that. So we said, we don't want this. We're going to make a rule. We're going to change that rule. So that's it.
Manager Rivas?
Well, I know in the discussion, it talks about having 5 members, but in talking to Cheryl Tucker, who had been on the previous commission for Summer Festival, she said it's a huge undertaking, a huge job. So we will make sure that if the board does not agree to more members being added to a subcommission, that maybe we'll also supplement with myself and other members from staff to make sure, since it is a huge undertaking, that this event is a success.
I think in order also to solidify the structure and the process of things is that it's very important that the commissions are giving these formal recommendations directly to the board prior to these decisions being made at the board level then. So that's what I ask as well, is that if commissions need the help, absolutely make that recommendation for us if it fits the scope. Is there any other discussion? Trustee Kumar.
I feel like there are certain things that there is knowledge from the basis of staff that have worked on it. In this particular instance, definitely staff has been dealing with Summerfest now for years. So I would say that if staff comes to us with a recommendation that we need 7 people on that commission, we agree with staff and have 7 people on that commission. The board making that recommendation, I agree the commission and the subcommittee should have, and I see a lot of people being installed into these commissions today, and that makes me very happy because I feel it is a severe undertaking. I think our previous trustee, Cheryl Tucker, is correct in her assessment that this is a big undertaking, and the better we work on this. So if we need a 7% committee, let's go with the 7% committee.
Manager Rivas.
And just for clarification, I'm not making that recommendation. I was just giving you a historical perspective of what the committee was previously.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova? No. Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay, moving along to item 12. Item 13A. Okay, moving along, 13A, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving final change order number 2 to the contract with Trine Construction Corp. of St. Charles, Illinois for construction of the Jackson Area Improvement Project for a net deduction in the amount of $809,949.20. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the village manager to execute the change order in substantially the form attached hereto to the contract with Trine Construction Corp. of St. Charles, Illinois. The village has a contract with Trine Construction Corp. in the amount of $6,659,423.84 for the construction of the Jackson area improvements. Proposed final change order number 2 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net amount of the proposed final change order number 2 is a net deduction in the amount of $809,949.20 for an adjusted contract amount of $5,849,474.64.
Can I please get a motion for this?
I'll make that
Trustee
motion.
Kumar.
Yeah.
All
Go ahead, go ahead.
Do I have a second? Trustee
We can-
Sabri.
yeah, we can do first and second.
All right. We will start off discussion. First of all, anytime that we could get a net deduction, that's a good day. So, Trustee Kumar.
The net, is this net deduction in funds that we would have spent out of pocket, or is it, yes? Or is it through a flow-through, a government grant?
No, this one is, we did get government grant, we did get the FEMA brick grant, which was reimbursement, but that was for only $4 million out of the 2 projects with the Jackson Pond expansion and then the Jackson area improvement, which is the piping. So this is a net deduction out of the stormwater fund that we would pay out of pocket on this, so. That's coming back to, or saving funds for the village.
Thank you.
I thought you did such a good negotiation that you were able to make a deduction on this rather than a...
With all capital projects, we look for ways to make sure that we get the improvements completed, but if there's ways to maybe save or different avenues along the way, we try to make those adjustments to come in.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
All right, moving forward, appointments to commissions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go one at a time here to make it a little bit easier. So 14A, appointment of David Whitaker as trustee to the Police Pension Fund Board. Do I have a motion for the appointment? Trustee Kumar, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
All right. I was just made aware that we can actually do a voice vote for this as well, so we don't have to do roll call. I think that might go a little smoother. Let's try that out. So 14B, appointment of commissioners to the Garden Village Commission. B1, appointment of Christopher Dietrich as commissioner of the Garden Village Commission. We can go ahead and do a voice vote. All in favor? Oh, I apologize. We need a motion and a second.
I will gladly make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Constados, a second by Trustee Kumar. Okay,
Do we have discussion?
now we have discussion.
Okay. I just want to say that I'm happy that there's going to be more people on this commission to do what they need to do. And I am favorable to some of these people who already had really good ideas. That's all.
Okay. Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. I am the liaison for this commission, so I want to just say that I'm super excited that I'm getting more people on my commission as well, and that I'm extremely excited to have Christopher come join us. He has given many suggestions in the past, so I look forward to him bringing his suggestions to the table finally. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion?
Just
Trustee
a point of
Cordova.
order. Are we able to take B, 1, 2, 3, and vote for all 3, or are we doing just separate?
We need to vote for them each separately.
Okay.
Okay, is there any more discussion on B1?
No.
Okay, we're going to do a voice vote this time, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving forward to B2, the appointment of Jane Wyckoff as Commissioner of the Garden Village Commission. Do I have a motion for that appointment?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second? Okay, Trustee Kumar? Okay, any discussion? Okay, voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, moving forward to item B3, the approval of Pete Stoltzes as commissioner to from commissioner to chairperson of the Garden Village Commission. Do I have a motion for the appointment? Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados, any discussion? Okay, voice vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving forward to 14C, appointment of commissioners to the Senior Concerns Commission. C1, appointment of Joanne Lewis as Commissioner of the Senior Concerns Commission. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I will make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Sabri, is there any discussion? Trustee Constados.
Thank you. Another one of my commissions that I'm a liaison for, and I'm super excited to get more seniors on board. We had a blast at the luncheon that Janet had for the birthdays, and the seniors were really excited to find out about the program that's coming up that we'll be bringing up for a recommendation to the board about the Adopt a Senior program. So I'm glad to see some more seniors coming on board. Thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, for item 14C1, voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving forward to item 14C2, the appointment of June Blom as Commissioner of the Senior Concerns Commission. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sabri, is there any discussion? Okay, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving forward to 14D, appointment of commissioners to the VillaFest Subcommittee. D1, appointment of Leslie Allison CI from the Fund Commission as Chair of the VillaFest Subcommittee. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados? Do we have discussion? Okay, voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving along to 14D2, the appointment of Carlos Jackson from the Fund Commission as a member of the VillaFest Subcommittee. Do I have a motion for the appointment? Trustee
make that
Constados? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sabri? Is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar?
Only a little bit of discussion in, does this fill the 5, everybody in the Villa Fest at this point? Okay.
Yes.
That's fine. I just wanted to know. Okay.
Any more discussion? Okay, we go ahead and do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving forward to 14D3, the appointment of D. Longfellow as member of the VillaFest Subcommittee. Do I have a motion for the appointment? Trustee Constados? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sabri? Okay, any discussion? Okay, voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving along to 14D4, the appointment of Steve Della Rosa as a member of the VillaFest Subcommittee. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I'll make that motion. He's a great guy.
All right, Trustee Sabri, I'll give you that one.
He's a great guy.
Second? Trustee
I'll second
Constados?
that.
All right, we got it there. Is there any discussion?
I just want to say, I think Steve is going to be perfect for
Yep.
this commission, and he's going to bring some great music to us. So, that's it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I just think it's a good fit, too.
Yes, I agree. All right, we're going to go ahead and do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving forward to 14D5, the appointment of Stacy Klueg as a member of the VillaFest Subcommittee. Do I have a motion for the appointment? Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados? Is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar?
I know Stacy well, and I think she's going to be a great addition. I didn't even know she was going for this, but this is good.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, moving along, we're going to go ahead and do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving along. Is there any unfinished business? Trustee Consados.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple things, actually. I wanted to bring back discussion on the 2026 budget, and bring that back for discussion about some possible changes and amendments. I know we had talked about bringing that back up, and I want to make sure that we are just reminded to do so. So I'd like to see that come back on the agenda. Take a look at it.
Any specific agenda? The next agenda?
I would prefer it to be the next if we can. If not, then the one after that. For sure in March, I would say.
And you're looking that to be a discussion topic?
Correct. For
Okay.
discussion first, and then further if need be.
Okay. Manager Rivas, if we could have that added to the next agenda as a discussion topic.
We will do all we can to make sure it's on that agenda.
Thank you very much. My next thing was the budget book. Do we have a time frame on when that is going to be printed for us?
Finance Director Micah?
So I have, the book is pretty much complete. I'm just waiting for a few more pieces to be added to it from my colleagues. And then once we get that put in the book, I can have an electronic copy emailed out to all and then sent off to the print shop for hard copies.
Okay. Do we have kind of an idea of when that might be? 30 days? Looking 30 days, 60 days?
By the end of this week.
That's even better yet. I'll take it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank
Okay.
you.
Is there any other unfinished business? Trustee Kumar?
I think the owner of Mortadelli's came out. I do not know if that, whatever her license requests are or whatever are going to come on the next agenda, but we should look into that.
Just for clarification then too, that is going to be on our next village board agenda.
Okay.
Is there any other unfinished business? Okay, moving along to new business. Item 16A, commission discussions, commission appointment and size, periodic board liaison reports, and the clerk's role in keeping commissioner roster. Trustee Kumar.
As you know, I brought this particular agenda item in. There's a couple of things that were concerning in some of the commissions. I see with these appointments, I'm hoping that those changes will take place, that there will be enough commissioners and more, more of a chance to get things done and get better feedback from the commissions at this point. I would suggest that we do increase the size of the Villa Fest committee. It is a big undertaking to 7. That's the one thing that I would suggest. The periodic liaison reports, I want to clarify, the reports I'm talking about are not staff reports. They are reports by the liaisons that are on the board. I would like to hear like 1 or 2 from each of the liaisons on what, we used to do that consistently while we were liaisons, give those reports. I appreciated the senior commission, what's going on. It is a different take. And that's why the board liaisons are there. They're more there to listen than drive the commissions. So they come in and they report what they see. And that's kind of a helpful take, because that gives a different flavor. And I think that really tells where the commission is going, where, the direction. So I will ask that the liaisons on the board give their reports in a consistent fashion, during their village trustees report, right? So that's something that was happening in the past. It hasn't been happening by all the trustees. For instance, the Plan Commission, we haven't heard anything about, though that is a concern that came to us. So I'd like to hear the report from that commission, also from the Liquor Commission, whatever's going on there. I'd love to hear the reports from there. I think the Fund Commission, Carrie has been Trustee Alfano, has been really good at giving those reports. I was very appreciative of the report from other trustees. I would like to hear Trustee Sabri's take as well on whatever commissions he's on. So that's where I'm I'm leaving that.
And I agree with you, trustee Kumar. And even looking at our code, that's part of the code, is revisions. That's how we revise it too. It says board liaisons shall report recommendations and major developments from commissions and boards to the village board. So your request is to do that regularly or monthly as needed or as information comes out. Do you want more than just formal recommendations, or just kind of a synopsis of what the last meeting was about?
A synopsis is fine, right?
Okay.
A short synopsis from whoever is the liaison. I think with the new liaisons, we didn't make it clear that that was expected, so some of that hasn't been done because the expectation wasn't set. So I just want this as a moment to set that expectation with our board members.
Okay. And just really quick too, while we're talking about liaisons to the commissions, is that I know that some of you serve on multiple commissions as the liaison, but officially now, we have a new board liaison to the Green Commission, which is trustee Kumar. So trustee Kumar will be filling in for that vacancy there as well. Trustee Constados.
I was just going to ask, did we fill all of the commissions with liaisons, and what do we do with the one, if we have one left that doesn't have a liaison?
So every commission and subcommittee has a board liaison right now. Staff, I'm unsure whether or not our staff liaisons are filled for those yet, but that is at the discretion of the village manager. When a vacancy does arise or a trustee does not want to be the liaison anymore, then that'll be my responsibility to fill that as well. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, sorry. So when you sent out the email saying there was 2 that were left, have those 2 been fulfilled then by a trustee?
So the Green Commission has been, and then I believe
Historical.
the Historical Preservation Commission needs one as well. Yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Sabri.
If I may, I was on that commission prior to accepting this position. If it need to be, I could be a liaison for that, temporary or permanent, whatever you prefer.
Then let's talk outside of the meeting, and then let me know what you want to do, and we'll move forward with that. Trustee Kumar.
And the clerk's role in keeping the commissioners a roster. I think that's important that we get that report on a regular basis. So that's what I will ask, just so we have something to look at to say, how are these commissions functioning? Do we need to adjust something?
I agree, and the way that I have it right now is that I have a current roster, and I believe our village manager assistant, Cheryl, has one as well. But I'm going to ask legal what the recommendation is as far as the clerk goes. Is that part of the role or responsibilities of the clerk to keep that, or is that mine or the staff's?
The clerk has the records of who's been appointed to the commission as part of the minutes that he keeps from, every meeting. So it certainly would make sense for him to keep it, but there's no requirement that he do so, and it can be decided by staff and officials however you want to.
Okay. What I'll do is, Clerk Lauken, what I do right now is anytime that a commission application is received, I'll respond back with an email, and I'll copy Clerk Lauken on those transmissions, or those emails, so that way he can be in the know. What I'll also do, though, too, is I will share the working document with you, just for your records as well, and anytime that there's any updates or changes, we can make those collectively. Any other discussion? Trustee Constados?
Do we need to vote on that, or
No.
Okay, just asking. Thank you.
One of the things that I will say, that I believe that we are doing very well right now with our commissions, is that we have very well-trained commissions. This is the first time in a long time that I ever know that any of our commissions have actually been formally trained, which myself and Deputy Village President Carrie Alfano, have taken the initiative to hold trainings for all commissioners. We plan on hosting new commissioner trainings as needed for new commissioners that join on commissions, but then also annual commission refresher training for every commission member as well moving forward. That helps everybody stay on the same page and understand their roles and responsibilities, and it also helps us in getting what these commissions are designed to do, the advisory to the village board. So I'm very proud to say that we have well-trained commissions. We might not be perfect, but again, our commissions have been established less than a year, and we are already providing a lot for our community, whether that be the addition of new parks and spaces of that nature, talking about recommendations for our community and recreation. There's a lot coming out of our commissions, and they are all on YouTube for you to watch as well if you want to be interested. If you are interested in serving on a commission as well, is that you could go to our village website and look under our commission page. There will list if there are any vacancies on commissions for which you can apply, and directions on how to do that, and then also what it looks like, what the process looks like, and what each step of that process looks along the way. All right, moving forward to 17A, which is the Village Commission reports. We have the minutes from the Local Liquor Control Commission meeting held on November 25th, 2025. 17B is the minutes from the Fund Commission held on December 9th, 2025 and December 23rd, 2025.
Excuse me.
We also,
I still had some new business.
okay, we'll go back.
And that's to give a report or a solution for the dust issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want an update from the builder, if we can get, on what they are doing to mitigate the situation and the construction noise, and what the solution is and what the possibilities are.
Director House, if you would address that.
Yeah.
Yes, we have been having biweekly meetings with the construction team. Our first one, or I believe second one, we held last Friday. We had heard some complaints regarding dust, and we did mention that at the meeting. Obviously, this is the first construction day after that, so staff is keeping a close eye on the situation. We have been watching construction hours, but construction starting at 7 a.m. is currently compliant with our village ordinances during the week. But again, we are having our inspectors keep a close eye on that construction site.
Is there a possibility of making a request of an 8 a.m. start, or it's not possible?
You can request it, however, it'll be up to the construction team.
Can we get some feedback if you request on what their statement is and their reasoning? That's more, I think, I know they're compliant, they may have a reasoning, they may not. I mean, a request might be okay with them, so I just, want to check.
Yeah, and Trustee Kumar too, as well. I completely understand your concerns there. If they're abiding by the ordinance, there's really not much that the village staff can do unless it's noticed that they are against ordinance, and in that case, against our ordinance. And in that case, I highly recommend, please reach out to the village, reach out to code enforcement, reach out to staff. You could even simply send an email to our feedback at invillapark.com. So for the residents that did come out tonight that expressed their concerns, at any time during this process, please feel free to reach out to us so that way we can make sure that we are enforcing our codes fairly. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. To the residents, I know it's an inconvenience. I know the noise and the dust, and I'd like to just ask for some patience from everybody in knowing that this is not something that's going to last forever. It is a development that's going to bring a lot of good to our town, and just kind of hang in there. And as a company kind of doing the development, I'm sure that they don't want to start later, because then every hour that they're not doing the development is going to take longer for the development to finish. And just keep in mind that it's just, once the exterior is done and the demolition and stuff is done, it's hopefully not going to be as dusty. I'm sure it'll still be noisy for a while, but it's going to bring a lot of good to our town, and I know that it's a lot to ask, and I thank you guys for your patience and everything in that.
And I agree with that. I second that. One of my requests then from staff is that when you do have your conversations with the developers of Union, is that we specifically ask about the noise and making sure that they're adhering to our ordinance with the noise, as well as what they see regarding pollution and air quality, and what they are doing or what steps that they are taking to try to mitigate that. Trustee Kumar?
And also maybe a timeline, because they will have a better feel of when, I mean, the timeline of the total timeline of 1.5 years may not be the timeline that this part of the noise or this part of the thing goes on. Knowing, okay, this is going to be the next 3 months or next, 4 months, at least gives the resident a little clearer picture. So a timeline from them of that will be helpful as well.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Any other new business? Okay, seeing none, we are go ahead and move forward to the item 17, the Village Commission reports. We have the minutes from the Local Liquor Control Commission meeting held on November 25th, 2025. We have the minutes from the Fund Commission meeting held on December 9th, 2025, and December 23rd, 2025. We also have the minutes of the Community Recreation Commission held on December 17th, 2025, the minutes of the Senior Concerns Commission meeting held on January 5th, 2026, and the minutes of the Green Commission held on January 20th, 2026. Is there any discussion on the Village Commission reports? Okay, seeing none. What I will say, I just want to piggyback on this and some of the direction that I'm giving to the chair of the commissions about our meeting minutes and how we could do a better job at providing those to the public, is that the rule of thumb, what we're really trying to do is whoever's taking the minutes during those commission meetings will be able to do those along the way while the meeting is happening. But we're trying to have those minutes completed before the start of the next meeting, so that way the commissions can approve those minutes on their own at their meetings, and then those will be sent to the board for final discussion. Just for clarity.
Yeah. Quick question. Are commission meetings and commission minutes under the same Open Meetings Act rules and whatnot about getting their minutes published X amount of days after the meeting is held?
Yes, and I believe the law states that at the end of a commission meeting, they have up to 60 days to submit those minutes. Am I correct on that?
Yes, there are a few nuances to it. They are under the same timeline requirements of approving minutes as the village board is, every public body is. The one, you mentioned publishing them. I'm not sure if you meant publishing them online or just in general making them available.
Yeah.
The publishing online, as they are their own separate public body, and they don't have their own employee whose duty it is to maintain a website for that public body. So technically, those commission minutes do not need to be uploaded online, whereas the village board does, because the village board has employees who maintain the website. But that doesn't mean that the village can't go above and beyond that and include the minutes of commissions on the website.
Trustee Kumar.
What is our code with respect to that? I'm asking, do we have any code with respect to the publication of minutes?
The minutes should be approved within the time frame that President Patrick mentioned. It's actually within 2 meetings. 2 regularly scheduled meetings is when it would need to be approved, and then posted online within 10 days of the approval.
Any other discussion? All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward to item 18, the village clerk's report.
None.
Okay, Moving along to Village Trustees Report. We will start on my left, Trustee Kumar.
I'm just happy to be joining as the liaison to the Green Commission. I hope that we do a lot of sustainable things in the future, and I hope to listen to what new ideas come out of that commission. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Sabri.
No report today.
Okay. On my right, Trustee Constados.
I just want to say that I'm excited to work with all of the new people that have come to my two commissions, and looking forward to doing some great things for our community through that. Again, thank you to Cheryl Tucker for the information and helping getting the pool fund taken care of, and thank you to the board for supporting that. I appreciate it very much. I know it's something we all campaigned on, and although I know 1% doesn't seem like a lot, it's definitely at least a start. So thank you, and I hope everybody has a good evening. That's it.
Trustee Cordova.
Yeah, just a quick thank you to the police department for providing District 88 Willowbrook students an opportunity to walk safely through our community and voice their concerns and just show up. So I know you guys were driving through and keeping them, just where they should be, and I appreciate that. And a lot of parents reached out, and there was a lot of concern, right? A lot of uncertainty of what was going to happen, and so you guys handled it perfectly, and I appreciate it. So thank you. That's it.
Trustee Kozar.
No report.
All right. For the Village President's Report, I do have a few things, but first, it has come to my attention that today, February 23rd, is a very special day, and it is the birthday of our Community and Development Director, Michelle House. Happy birthday.
Oh, you got a cake?
All right, happy birthday. I told her before the meeting I wasn't going to put her on the spot, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Also, everybody, happy Ramadan. Ramadan started Thursday, February 19th, and goes through March 19th. I will be attending 2 iftars this week, one at the Addison Township and the other at the Villa Park Islamic Foundation. Also, Friday kicked off the Villa Park VFW's annual fish fry. This will be an event that's held every Friday at 5 p.m. is when the doors open, all the way up until Good Friday, which is Friday, April 3rd. It is a great event. It's a great cause. It's a good turnout, and the food is great. So if you have the opportunity to attend, get out to the Villa Park VFW for their fish fries. Over the last week, I attended the College of DuPage, the District Elected Leaders Breakfast. We talked about how COD is helping to advance the workforce and economic development in our communities. I also met with representatives from the DuPage Monarch Project to talk about potential enhancements to our parks and green spaces here in Villa Park. I will be touring with them some of our current areas in Villa Park and getting information about some of the potential ideas or projects that they can assist us with here in Villa Park. They'll also be giving a small presentation at the next Garden Village Commission meeting on March 19th at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, I'll be attending the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, the Legislative Committee meeting. Next month, village staff and I will be meeting with a developer interested in developing a multi-unit affordable senior housing development here in Villa Park. So that is at just its infancy, but we will be meeting next month to discuss that. The very next week, I will be meeting with DuPage United to talk more about accessible, supportive, and affordable housing opportunities here in Villa Park. I'll also be meeting with Congressman Sean Casten and the DMMC. Lastly, that same day, I'll be attending the DuPage Police Management System Oversight Committee. I know that was a lot, but we are pretty busy here in Villa Park, but we are progressing. We are moving forward. I'm very proud of that and very proud of this board as well. Thank you for everybody, everything that you do on this board. I know it's a lot of time and commitment, but thank you. Manager Rivas.
Thank you. Just 2 quick things. This past Saturday was the Cocoa Crawl. We had numerous businesses that opened up their doors to the public to come out and go to the different businesses to enjoy their different chocolate beverages or cocoa-laced beverages. So we do appreciate all those businesses that open their doors, and big shout out to the Chamber of Commerce for help shepherding that cause. The next topic, which is a very unpleasant one, but a very necessary one to discuss, is rats. We've had some rat complaints. A couple meetings ago, we had two ladies come forward about rats in the north end of town. We're holding weekly meetings on the subject with many staff members. We did outreach to the health department as well as OEM. We're looking at any abandoned vehicles in the area. We're trying to do any kind of dumpster management with any kind of apartments in the area to make sure that they're getting their dumpsters cleared out, so we don't ever have any garbage that's lingering. We have heat maps that we've identified for dumpsters and any kind of rat sightings. So we have those two maps that we can then kind of figure out what's going on. We also have contracted with a local pest management company to help us remediate the issue. And hopefully you'll be able to see a change. We also have purchased 20 boxes of traps that are rat traps, and we're going to have this sign that's going to be affixed on it. So if your child or teenage kid should come home with a big metal box with this on it, please return it back. This is going to be village property. It's costing us a lot of money to help remediate this. This is a very serious issue, and we're taking it very seriously. So please, anything you can do to do your part on the north end to help remediate this very serious health issue. Thank you. That's
All right. Thank you, sir. We will have executive session tonight, so 22A is pursuant to 5 ILC 120/2C1. The appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body. 22B, the pursuant to 5 ILC 120/2C5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, and 22C pursuant to 5 LCS 120/2C11 regarding litigation when action against, affecting, or on behalf of the village has been filed and is pending before a court, or when the village finds that an action is probable or imminent. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sabri, is there any discussion? Okay, we can do a voice vote on that. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cordova? Yes. Trustee Constados?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay, we will enter into executive session at 8:41, and we will close out the meeting after executive session.
I know.
Okay, so
Nice to see you.